And here's why. Relative to what you can reasonably expect from a player based on their body of work, he is so far beneath what he has given them, not only based on this regular season, when the guy did average 20 points a game, by the way, for them. Last year, in the postseason run in 20-plus playoff games, he averaged 17 points a game and shot 50% from the field in the postseason for a team that won a championship. Fast forward to this postseason. He has had 2 games in 11 playoff games where he's even reached his regular season scoring average. He's had 6 games in single digits. This isn't just like another dude in your rotation. This is a guy that you are counting on to provide on a bad night, 15 if he has an off shooting night, and capable of erupting, for 25 and up if he really gets it going. And he has been completely non-existent in the last 3 games in this series. Hasn't made a 3-point shot in the last 3 games. And here's the other thing. It's one thing if you say, well, guy's struggling with his offense, right? He can't find his shooting right now. Well, at least he can go dig into guys and guard and help us on that end of the floor. He's almost not playable defensively because he loses concentration. He doesn't really have a lot of will or want to on that end of the floor anyway. We know that even when he's playing well, we overlook it because he's putting up numbers and he's helping you in tight spots. He's supposed to be that guy that if Klay Thompson does have a bad shooting night, he picks up the slack. And he's done it many times in his career, and he did it a lot for them in the postseason a year ago. He's disappeared, and I actually think what happened to him at the end of game 1 when he missed that shot, and look, you can debate all day long if you think it's a good shot, bad decision, good decision, whatever. The reaction to it almost universally has been condemnation, right? So he's a guy now, and he's hearing it. And I don't care what guys say about tuning stuff out. You hear the chatter, and you feel the vibe in the locker room. There was a lot of disappointment over that. For whatever reason, it has rattled him to an extent. He has not shown up in the last 3 games, and you can't play him regardless because he's not helping you on the other end. He's actually a major liability defensively. So to me, this isn't even a debatable question. Jordan Poole by far has let Steph Curry down more and let the Warriors down more because he has not inserted himself in this series at all beyond game 1.
J.J. Reddick said similar thoughts just a few minutes ago. We recognize this.
Why
okay?
do you have to say my full name every time? I don't call you Stephen A. Smith. Why do you have to use my full name? My bad.
Actually, I like that. J.J. Reddick is a smooth name. I mean, it's smooth. It's got a ring to it, bro. I mean, you just
branding
feel me.
Purposes.
How about that? Stay with it. What you want me to call you old man in the 3? That what you want me to do? Trust me, JJ is flyer. Trust me on this, okay? Even though that's a damn good podcast. Here's the deal, y'all. I only went with Klay because I'm talking to him about expectations based on history. Just old reliable. When I sit up there and I'm talking basketball with JJ, see, I didn't say Reddick, JJ and Tim and Legs, right? There's an expectation that I have. If there's a drop-off, it's more disappointing than even somebody who may have produced in the past but doesn't have that long history to lean on. That's all I'm trying to say. But having said that, I'll stand down on Klay because I want to spend my time talking about Jordan Poole. I'm about to say something that's very, very unpopular. Some would label it incendiary. But I'm going to sit up there and ask y'all to seriously take into account. I'm going to preface my comments by saying, under no circumstances do we condone violence. We don't want it. We don't like it. We don't support it. We condemn it at every turn. We should. But I will tell you, as watching this series, all of a sudden, there's an elevated level of clarity that's kicking in as to why that incident happened with him and Draymond Green. I'm not talking stats. I'm not talking basketball. I'm talking attitude. This brother, Jordan Poole, and I'm going to tell you this last night because they were talking about him not talking to you. He had his back turned to the media. People had to turn down the music. Everybody was paying rapt attention to what he had to say. He was dismissive. He had this attitude, all of this other stuff. That's what they've been saying about him, right? He signs a 4-year, $123 million deal or $128 million, 123 guaranteed. Why do I bring that up? Is Jordan Poole acting like that if he's trying to get his bag now? No, he's not. He's acting that way because he got his bag. And because he got his bag, he thinks he's entitled, that he doesn't have to do what it took to get that bag to begin with. Now, you might fight it. You might be a little bit reluctant or hesitant to embrace what I'm saying, but I know the integrity JJ has when it comes to what the game is supposed to mean to you and the effort that you're supposed to put forth. And when you're struggling, there's a certain way that you're supposed to conduct yourself. He ain't just alienating the media. He's alienating that locker room. JJ, you call games. Tim LEGLER, you covered this league for years. Call him and find out. Talk to the Golden State Warriors. He ain't the same. He's been acting different. And now chickens have come home to roost because you in the postseason and you playing like hot garbage, playing like straight garbage. You look like trash. It's awful how he has been playing. 8 points or fewer in 5 of the last postseason games. Okay, literally half level of production, averaging 20 points last year, 10 points this year in the postseason, field goal percentage down, 3-point shooting percentage down. As a result, his minutes are down, and he's pouting and whining and just has an off-putting kind of attitude. Talk to the Golden State Warriors. Everybody sees what's going on, and I'm making the declaration. If he were looking for his bag, there's no way he's acting like this. But because he got his bag, all of a sudden the obvious decisions that Steve Kerr has to make because he's trying to win a playoff series, okay? He has to make these decisions, and Jordan Poole's attitude looks just as bad as his game. It's very evident, and I'm going to leave it at that.
I'm surprised you needed 9 months to get clarity on the issue of entitlement and attitude in reference to the incident. Like, to me, that was the only explanation at the time. And we see on Twitter a lot in reference to. No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you on that. Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
I think it was. I mean, it was obvious to me. I would say that.
Okay.
You see on Twitter all the time, like in reference to players or politics, it's like the word unserious, right? Or not a serious player, not a serious argument, whatever. This is unserious. And like, I see that a lot with Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole is an unserious player. Jordan Poole is not a serious player. And I think there's some validity to that. I really do. I'm not here to like just completely bag on the guy because I do respect his game. I do respect actually the body of work prior to this year's playoffs.
So do I.
I made the argument, essentially defending Klay to an extent, that by putting the ball in Steph Curry's hands, it takes Klay out of that off-the-ball rhythm. They're not getting as many looks for him in rhythm, so he's having to run off pin downs with 2 guys chasing them and shoot followays. Like, I get it as a shooter. When you're out of rhythm and you get a call played for you, you're going to jack. Like, you feel like you have to contribute in some way. The reason, and part of the reason, has been the Lakers' defense. But the other part of the reason that they've had to put Steph Curry on the ball, Jordan Poole is supposed to be the guy that creates on the ball for them. That's what he has been over the last 2 seasons. So if you're not getting that production, it puts more on Steph Curry. It puts more on Klay Thompson. So, yeah, I'm disappointed because I do think he's capable. He's shown he's capable. He showed last year in that playoff run how capable he is of contributing to winning basketball, and we're just not seeing that at all right now. And the other point I want to make, Stephen A., is I've seen that before as a teammate, which you referenced into guys getting their bags and then becoming less serious about the game. I think it applies here. I do.
I appreciate that. I really, really do. Thank you very much, because I'm dead serious about it. And again, we're not advocating anything. Draymond was wrong to do what he did.
100%.
And it started. He was 100% wrong, and nobody is saying otherwise. But when it happened, it was so uncharacteristic. We found ourselves wondering why. You said, as obviously a player, JJ, you said that it was pretty obvious to you why something like that happened. But it wasn't obvious to a lot of people. And I'm saying the clarity has really, really kicked in because of the behavior we're seeing from him the second things don't go his way. And my point is, when you didn't have the money, there's no way you would have acted that way, because there's no way in hell you would have got the money. But I'm going to tell y'all something right now. Covering this league as long as I have, I know a few owners. And there's very few I know more than Joe Lacob. And I can tell you right now, that kind of stuff ain't going to be tolerated. This dude is as close to George Steinbrenner as I've ever, the late, great Yankees owner George Steinbrenner, that I've come across. He might not like that comparison. He'll get over it. It's a compliment coming from me because I loved George Steinbrenner as a Yankee fan. I'm telling you right now, this man don't play. And when you see stuff like this and what has been transpiring, you can bet the house. Book it. Change is coming to the Golden State Warriors. I don't give a damn if they do win. Change is still coming because he sees this kind of stuff. Bob Myers sees this kind of stuff. Steve Kerr obviously sees this kind of stuff. And Jordan Poole is a problem. And it ain't because of his game. It's because of the attitude. It's affected his game. Because even though he's wearing the same uniform and traveling with the team and being in the same hotel rooms and on the bus, he don't feel like a part of it, okay? He's distant from the rest of the guys because his agenda ain't what their agenda is, and they know it. Trust me on that. This is a problem.